What's up, party people? We had downloaded yet another episode of the Retro Gamers. Hopefully you hit the subscribe button. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
How is your neck of the woods?
My neck of the woods is very tired.
Yeah, this is a both pretty beat. I think we both had long days today.
Yeah, it was a particularly long day. Stuff happened. I didn't enjoy it. I'm home now.
All right.
You know, the end.
As it goes.
Yes, I know that was a terribly interesting story, but you know, if this were Facebook, I'd be vague booking.
Oh, what does that mean? I've never heard that term before.
You never heard of vague booking?
Vague booking, VAGUE?
Yeah, vague
I've
booking.
Honestly, never heard of that term.
When you post something, and when you post the status update on Facebook, but it doesn't allude to specifically what you're talking about, just a general comment.
Oh my God, that was my 2006 and 2007 on Facebook.
Yes, vague booking.
Oh, that is amazing. I never heard of that, and I will be using it often now. Very cool.
Oh God, I don't need to. I don't need to catch you up. I really don't.
I love it.
I don't want you to start these things.
Unless it goes the way of MySpace.
Well, MySpace still exists though.
Yeah, for like four musicians and two comedian actors. That's like it. Like who uses MySpace?
Boy.
Maybe.
Don't forget the Virtual Boy.
Maybe.
Virtual Boy lives on forever on MySpace, where nobody ever looks at it.
What? Poor Tom from MySpace.
Maybe he looks at it.
Everyone's friend, Tom. Boy, you want to talk about retro?
Tom, it's Tom and four musicians and the Virtual Boy.
we should start a MySpace page
just for the Virtual Boy.
Why
yes.
not? Oh man,
not for us.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Unless
no.
we put on an album. Are we at that stage yet in our careers?
Let's remix Pac-Man Fever.
Oh, good God. The horror. Who's on lead vocals?
Well, I'll take it. I don't care.
Oh, it's all yours.
I'll
rap.
What was you do the Donkey Kong song? That Donkey Kong. Remember that one?
Uh-huh.
Oh, fantastic.
The closest I'll ever come to rapping is the ninja rap from
yes.
2.
Yes. Nothing.
That's it.
Ninja rap. Love it.
Yes.
You know that's like his number one moneymaker in his career? Vanilla Ice?
No, it can't be bigger than Ice Ice Baby.
All right, then maybe number... I don't know. I think he said in an interview that he actually gets more money from Ninja Rap, I think. Probably because of the sale of the movies.
Wow, that's sad.
Than replay of Ice Ice Baby, at least nowadays. Unless you go out and watch his movie, Ice Ice Baby.
You mean he doesn't make more money on his home improvement show?
I think he's still trying to make money off the Adam Sandler movie he was in.
I didn't even know he was in an Adam Sandler movie.
Yes. That's my boy. Go watch it. I recommend it.
I'll pass. Thank you.
But no.
I learned a long time ago not to take your film recommendations.
Hey, listen, they may not be Oscar-worthy, but they're still a fun ride.
I'd rather not waste my time.
And programming notes. Yeah, sure. Programming note. I haven't forgotten. I just eventually I'll get back to Castlevania 2.
You know what? I
don't know when.
Don't even try and make excuses at this point. It's just terrible. You're a terrible human being.
I don't know when. All of a sudden, I've been busy. I don't know why. So, but maybe I just won't do it on Fridays. I'll have to pick another day.
Well, you know, our listeners are begging for you to get back to Castlevania 2.
They
want to sit there and they want to watch you get through that game in 50 hours when it should take you like 5.
They do, because, playing a game and commentating on it is a very difficult task.
Well, then just play the game. You don't have to commentate it. You just like listening to yourself. That's all. I
love listening to myself.
I know. You're usually the first person to click on our podcast when you launch it, don't you, on Tuesdays?
I listen to it probably 5 times before it actually drops.
That's good. It took me almost a year to hear the opening song.
It really did, and that's not even a lie, people. He goes, send me the opening theme. I forgot what we were doing, and I'm like, don't you listen to it every week? He's like, no.
Well, look, you know what? There are some people like you who love listening to themselves. There are other people like me who don't enjoy listening to you. No,
To me, wait
who
a
don't.
minute.
Wait, what? Huh? There are some people who don't enjoy listening to themselves. And, anybody who listens to this who knows me knows that I tend to be hypercritical of myself. So the last thing I need to do is listen to myself back and, rip myself apart in private.
The best thing ever happened for poor Anthony was when Frank stepped in as co-host. That was the first time Anthony heard the podcast.
It actually was, and I do listen when I'm not on it. So there was that one, and then there was the second half that you just did with Frank and Verdi at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I did listen to that half too. So so I do listen to the podcast.
Okay, good. At least you do. At least some of those hits are from you.
Yeah, just not the ones I'm on.
Awesome. So, do you, just out of curiosity, because between the two of us, you are clearly the more healthy of us too, since you do like run marathons and everything.
I ran one marathon.
That's one more than I'll ever do. Have you, do you still go to McDonald's?
I do not.
No, but they have chicken.
Yeah, but it's fried.
You can get grilled.
Are you talking about the grilled chicken sandwich that they stick in between a bun with a bunch of mayo on it, and just awful.
It's in there.
Oh wait! Doesn't it also come with like French fries
and a diet
soda?
Coke.
Yeah. So no, I do not go to McDonald's. Why do you ask?
Well, you may want to start going to Mickey D's, or at least for the next, month or so. Because, I don't know if anyone has seen this, McDonald's actually has in their Happy Meals Super Mario Brother figures, probably for the first time in a long time. And I'm showing Anthony some of them right now. I'm trying to get the collection. Yes.
Wait, does that light up?
It does. This is Invincible Mario.
That's so cool. Stop singing. We don't have an album
and
yet.
You know what? And look, he's slowing down, getting ready to go back to normal with his light. He blinks.
It looks, you know what it looks like? It looks like his heart is stopping, like an ET.
Elliot. That was the only.
Every kid should have one of those.
One of two movies I've ever cried at.
What was the other one?
Benji.
Oh my God, Benji.
Oh God, that was horrible in Benji. Especially when the guy kicked Benji's girlfriend. And back then, I think the guy really kicked the dog.
We're
talking like this was like in the 80s.
I wouldn't be surprised, but
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Moving on.
I was like, what is this? And just in case anyone's wondering, you can buy these Happy Meal toys without actually buying a Happy Meal. So.
I would hope so. I can't imagine you walked in there to buy a Happy Meal for yourself.
What I'm saying is you don't have to get the food to get the toy.
Right, just buy the toys.
Exactly, but while you're in there, might as well get a hamburger.
No. So can you buy them all at once, or is it one of those things where it's like every week you get one?
Here's a funny story. It depends on what McDonald's you go to. So here's what happened with me.
Man.
So they announced, they have the new toys, and there's 6 of them. I have 4 of them right now. I'm going to show Anthony a couple more here in a moment. So I go into the one McDonald's, and I'm like, do you have the Super Mario Brothers Happy Meal toys? He's like, yes. I'm like, sweet. So I'm like, do you have all 6 of them? He's like, no. I'm like, all right, no problem. Whichever ones you have. I have the Invincible Mario one. Like, okay. And he goes, for this very reason is why we don't sell all 6 at once, so people don't come in and buy all of them at the same time. So,
well, yeah, they want you to come back 6 times.
They did.
So you order 6 meals.
So I just promptly went to a different McDonald's, and yes, they sold me whatever they had.
Oh, that's good.
So here is. Oh, look at this thing. How does this work? So here is Yoshi. Oh, that's how he
Very
works.
Very nice.
With
and his tongue goes in and out. That's very creepy.
You push on his back there, and his tongue moves. So that's
I'm not to stay PC. I'm not going to comment on that thing.
All right, let's see. And actually, these are the first times I'm even opening these bags, so I don't even know.
I know. I can hear you opening the bags.
I don't even know what
and I'm sure everybody who's listening can hear you open the bags.
Do? All right, so here's a 1-up.
Ah, very nice. Does it do anything?
I think it does. Hold on. Does it make noise?
Oh, I assume it makes the 1-up noise.
Oh,
or maybe a
wait.
Yeah. There you go.
You able to hear that?
Yes, I was able to hear that.
That's awesome. I love that. Oh,
That's really cool.
The button's placed on the bottom, so when oh
well, now it's broken.
No. Nope,
Man,
still works. Okay.
You just lost your life.
I dropped it. You can put it on a table, and when you push down on it, that's when it does it.
Now, people who are listening will understand why I don't like to listen to these back, because you know what? Getting through this with you is painful enough once.
Dare you, sir. And then we have
What else you got?
the man himself, Mario.
Ah.
He makes a noise. Let's see. What does he do? I'm going to assume this is what it looks like. What do you want to guess
noise,
he does?
maybe?
That's what I'm guessing, too.
Very nice.
Let's turn it on. There we go. Oh, you hear that?
Yep. That's his jump noise. Very nice. What about Luigi? No Luigi?
They do have Luigi and who's the sixth one?
Princess?
I think the princess. Either princess or Toad.
I'd be surprised if they left the princess out.
Yeah,
you want
right?
little girls to buy the Happy Meals too.
Yeah, remember for a while like they had the different Happy Meals, one for boys, one for girls?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, and then the girls ended up buying all the
and
boy
then I'm
Happy
sure
Meals
somebody
anyway.
sued, and they made gender neutral Happy Meals from then on out.
And that's how that works, folks. But I think let me Google this real quick.
Well, those are cute little toys that will go on your shelf in the back there, part of your collection of crap. And
wait, what?
What?
Right next to my 1986 Hulk Hogan back there.
Yeah, so you can put it next to that thing. That's a different. Yeah, no, you don't have to point. I can see it. Thank you, but our listeners can't, thankfully.
So they have. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, they have 8. I thought they had 6. They have 8.
Oh,
Son
so
of a gun.
hopefully Bowser. I would assume Bowser and Toad, or maybe a red mushroom.
It is close. It's a red shell.
Nice.
Bowser.
Yep.
Princess Toadstool and Luigi, who seems to be crowd surfing inside of a warp pipe. So
nice. Oh, they left Toad out. Interesting.
yeah. Screw him.
He's always left out, isn't he? They should just take They should make a game where Toad finally gets fed up with being treated like a second class citizen, and he just goes on a slaughter. he just kills them all.
I don't think Captain Toadstool really captures the essence of Toad and how upset he is with the world.
Yeah, if I were Toad, I'd have a chip on my shoulder. One, because it took them about at least a decade before they told you whether Toad was a boy or a girl.
Did it ever really get solved? Yeah, I guess so, right?
I think there are multiple Toads.
Oh, there sure are. Yeah, they're all over the place.
That was the answer.
Yeah, fun fact as well. If you remember the original storyline of the original Super Mario Brothers game, the first one, I think all the Toads, if I'm not mistaken, were turned into bricks in the Mushroom Kingdom. The very same bricks that Mario insists on destroying.
Oh, so Mario, every time he broke a brick, was killing a Toad.
He sure was.
Awesome. That might explain something I read today, too, and I believe it was... I don't remember if it was for Super Mario RPG on Super Nintendo,
okay,
or if it was for one of the Paper Marios. But one of the Mario RPG games, the Japanese version, has a chalk outline of Toad in it, as if Toad was murdered, and they removed that for the American version.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just don't remember which one it was. But so apparently, Toad getting murdered is just a thing.
He's expendable.
He's completely expendable, except when he has to tell you that the princess is in another castle.
Right. rat bum.
I know. It's like, how come he's, did anybody ever wonder why, like, you're fighting Bowser in, like, 31 other, or I'm sorry, not 30, like 7 other levels in the original Mario Brothers, and of all the people he's keeping Toad back there?
I know, like, he doesn't realize. Well, to be fair, those are imposter Koopas.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but still, it's just weird.
Oh, very.
It's
weird.
all weird.
The whole old Miyamoto had a meaning behind all that.
One of the greatest games ever made, but
Sure
man,
was.
is it strange. I mean, just think about it. Think about that whole concept.
It's gonna lull me to sleep tonight.
So yeah, a couple months ago we had talked about the nominees, and there were 12 nominees, and they didn't. They never announced exactly how many were going to get in. It could fluctuate. The first 2 years they had put 6 in. 6 games were entered into the Hall of Fame the first year and the second year. So it would stand to reason that I was at least expecting 6 more to go in out of the 12. It makes sense. Like half of them would go in.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, but they decided to slow their roll a little bit this year. They only let 4 in out of the bunch.
Which is, I guess, that makes the Hall of Fame more prestigious because it's not just overloaded with games.
No, I agree with that. I would assume, like, as time goes on, that I wouldn't be surprised if the number lessens because, the first few years you want to get like a stable pool of of games in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you have because right now, like, now they have 16, right? So that's not exactly a huge Hall of Fame.
Not yet.
It's new, yeah. So if you want to make it a bigger deal, you need to have more. But I think over time it'll probably even lessen from 4 to maybe 3, 2.
Mm-hmm. I hope not. I think 4 is a good number.
Well, we each have our preferences. You're usually wrong, so I'd like to think it would be less. And also, other things would wind up going in as well, like maybe like game designers and stuff like that. People, who knows where this can go? Okay. It's just in its 3rd year. It's very young. I personally am waiting for the actual Hall of Fame building so we can go visit it.
Well, there is one.
Oh, is there an actual physical building?
Yeah, there is. It's whatever the heck is it called? Whatever that website is. There's a building.
I didn't realize they actually had a building. Where is it located?
I'll tell you in a moment.
You should know these things.
My brain can only hold so much.
I know, and it's a shame because I think it ran out of room like 10 years ago.
For every new fact I get, one old one gets pushed out.
Yes.
Now for the bonus question. Who scored 4 touchdowns in a single game?
Yes. I was about to say, I remember that being the plot of a Married with Children episode.
that was a great episode. Al's like dancing in the audience when he asked that question, and she's just standing there dumbfounded.
Great show.
What is this? It's called the Strong National Museum of Play. And
location,
where
please.
Is it? Oh, it was a toy Hall of Fame.
That I knew. But that's not what I asked.
Here we go. Directions.
So, Video Game Hall of Fame, please. Where can I go visit?
Oh, why is it bringing me to Google Maps? Oy.
All right. Well, moving on.
Where is this thing? Oh, it's in Rochester.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Oh, that's not bad. I can do that. I can take that.
So we can conceivably go visit, and we can do a podcast there.
We should. That'd be awesome. Oh, there's also a Pizza Hut Express there.
All right, that's where you lose me.
There's a VR store.
Why is fast food becoming a part of our conversation tonight?
Because
I can't tell you the last time I've been to a fast food place.
There's a lot of stuff over there. So yeah, it's in Rochester. The Strong Museum. Go check it out. So.
Go check it out if you're somewhere within the Rochester vicinity, or if you're that much of a retro gamer that you jump on a plane and fly to Rochester, New York.
There you go.
Check it out.
Do that.
But let's get back to the Hall of Fame since we were talking about the 4 new inductees.
And if you
would you like to do the honors?
I sure will. But real quick, if you want to check it out, it's worldvideogamehalloffame.org. That's where you can check it out. So let's do this. We got 4 of the new games in no particular order for the Xbox. Halo Combat Evolved made it in this year to the Hall of Fame.
Hooray for Halo. I have never played a Halo.
Really? Never? I mean,
No, or maybe I tried like a friend of mine's for like 10 seconds, but I'm not a fan of the shoot 'em ups, much less the first person ones. They give me bad headaches.
I kind of remember we never really played much GoldenEye now that I think about it.
No, we were probably some of the very few people who did not play well, at least friend-wise, like our group. Like, we really didn't play GoldenEye. I had severe issues with those things. They gave me nasty headaches.
Oh man, well, that's not good.
I still don't play a lot of first-person shooters. In fact, the first one I really settled in on playing was Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
That was a great game, and I kind of like the fact that it was short.
Yeah, they were. They were very short. Almost, they were like episode. No, they were like little mini movies.
They were like little mini movies. So like you would play for like maybe half an hour, and that I can maybe handle that much. But like I know Halo's been Halo's super successful. I mean they still have games coming out for it. It pretty much redefined the first person shooter. Like maybe it took what GoldenEye did, and it just really like upped its game. And
I feel like it really online multiplayer for the home console. There was already multiplayer for the PC, but for the home console, Halo, especially Halo 2, really kicked it into high gear, and it launched the Xbox. Let's face facts.
Oh yeah, there's no question. Like the Xbox, I don't think would have been nearly as successful without Halo.
Correct.
So right, and rightfully earned. Yeah. I mean, I think it definitely deserves its spot in the Hall of Fame. I thought about that for a while because I was like, Xbox, is that not retro enough? And I'm like, no, it definitely. When you think about how it launched an entire company's console, I'd say yeah,
totally. And the games that came after it, and the I have on the Xbox One the kind of like the newer Halo, like when they redesigned Halo, when they re-released it. Graphics look spectacular, and you can go back to the old school graphics. So, Halo from Microsoft. Congratulations, Microsoft, getting a game in there. Next up is Pokemon Red and Green. So we're talking the OG Japanese. I mean, you got to think it's probably just Pokemon in general, but the games that are actually going in are the Japanese Red and Green Pokemon games.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I looked at the list of 12 last time, and we talked about it, I thought those two they were kind of a shoo-in because, I mean, it's 2017. Not only are we still talking about Pokemon, but I mean, Pokemon Go last year was like one of the hottest things ever, and it's still going. Yeah. I mean, millions of people are still playing Pokemon Go. I mean, and this is all because of, Pokemon Red and Green that came out over 20 years ago. So, I mean, you're talking about a game that established itself as a major brand in the world. I mean, besides games, I mean, the trading card game, they sell billions of cards. Oh, God. Not even millions. I mean, I think they're in the billions now in terms of cards sold. Movies, cartoons, merchandise like you wouldn't believe. When I was in Japan this trip, I was picking up a late birthday gift for my friend's daughter, and she got into Pokemon because of Pokemon Go.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, she's only, she just turned 6. So she didn't know anything about the video games or anything. She doesn't play video games yet, if she ever will. But, she got into Pokemon because of Pokemon Go, and now she collects the trading cards, too. Just for fun. She doesn't play the game, but she collects them because she likes the characters, the whole gotta-catch-them-all thing. And I bought her a gift in Japan at the Pokemon Center in Osaka.
Oh, wow. There's a real center. All right.
Yeah, there's they call it Pokemon Center. I don't know if it was like an actual, like a headquarters type of thing, but like it was a store. It was this Pokemon specific store in a department store in Osaka. So, and they had and just a ton of stuff there. I mean, besides like a wall of plush with like every Pokemon you can think of, they just had everything, just anything you can buy merchandise wise, they had in Pokemon.
Merchandising. That's pretty sweet. And Pokemon definitely is it's a whole culture unto itself. Besides the games, the movies, the TV shows, all the just everything related Pokemon. Forget about it. My friend's son, he's constantly still collecting Pokemon. The cards. And he's, my friend's son's like in his 20s, but the cards that are collected, those are worth money. There was one a couple years ago that sold for like $20,000, a Pokemon card.
Yeah, that's the ultra rare cards.
Yeah.
It's interesting how cards like that can have value. You can compare them to like comic books.
You sure can. I definitely believe that.
More or less. So so congrats to Pokemon Red and Green. They done right, and again belong in the Video Game Hall of Fame for sure.
Definitely. And you mentioned someone kind of started playing it because of Pokemon Go. I just started playing Pokemon when they released it on the 3DS, like back in February. So
I've never played a traditional Pokemon game.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like the very first Pokemon, they released Red, Blue, and Yellow. Or re-released it on the 3DS. So that's the very first time I ever touched a traditional Pokemon game, not like Puzzle League or Stadium or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. See, those are the ones that I've played. I've never actually sat down to play a Pokemon game. But you know what? I think it might be time.
Next up, number 3 of the new inductees into the 2017 Video Game Hall of Fame. This was a shoo-in. I don't even know why. I don't know why people had to vote on it. Donkey Kong.
Yeah, why Donkey Kong didn't go? I have my theories. Donkey Kong didn't go in the first year. I think because Super Mario Brothers went in the first year.
Probably.
But I'm not exactly sure why it didn't go in the second year. So, Donkey Kong. We did a retro spotlight on Donkey Kong. On one of our podcasts, and what more can you say about that game besides the fact that redefined an industry, made Nintendo its fortune, and turned it into the powerhouse that's had its lasting stay for like over 30 years in the video game industry. Granted, they've been around for over 120 years, but the last 30 plus has all really been video games. So. And they can really accredit that to Donkey Kong.
Yeah, Donkey Kong launched the career of Mario, and the best part too about it is the lawsuit. I think that we talked about as well. I don't remember if we talked about it during the spotlight. The lawsuit Nintendo had with Universal, and which not just on Nintendo's side, but almost tried to figure out because the rights to King Kong, because Universal sued Nintendo because Donkey Kong too close to King Kong. But at the same time, like, no one knew who owned the rights to King Kong. So the lawsuit kind of almost helped out with that.
Yeah, exactly. And then at the end of the day, it was determined that, Universal couldn't sue them for the King Kong likeness because they technically didn't have the rights at the time. So
yeah, it was the family. I forgot the guy's name, but his family had it.
Me too. So not only did Nintendo win the case, they actually won money out of it too because Universal had to pay for all of their like court fees and stuff. So
dope.
So yeah, exactly. Hey, you know what though? If you think about it, it wasn't a bad play out of Universal because Donkey Kong had made. At that time, I think it had made like over like several $100 million or something like that. So
totally.
Yeah, so that naturally you would want to go after that because remember back then movies weren't making that much money.
No, like compared to today's standards or for the time?
Compared to today's standards, like a blockbuster movie back in the 80s. If it cleared, I think 100, it was special.
Really? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you're right. So, yeah, true.
Yeah, now obviously the benchmark is $1 billion, which is which is lunacy, but but yeah, so. Kudos to Nintendo for creating a character and a game, or actually kudos to Shigeru Miyamoto for taking what was supposed to be a Popeye game and turning it into a game that redefined the entire industry.
It really did, and that it's wild sometimes how the simplest of ideas ends up being the catalyst of just world of difference.
Right. And you know who really lost out on this one though?
Who?
Pauline.
Oh yeah, that's true.
She got replaced by Princess Peach, and that was it.
Honestly, like she doesn't even appear in like a Mario Kart game, and they usually dust off some of the old.
No,
characters.
you know why? You know why? That's his ex-girlfriend. She can't be around.
Well, I mean, there's Rosita, not Rosita. What's her name in Mario Kart? There's not just Toad. There's Toad, Daisy, and Rosalina. Or
Rosalina. Yeah, I think you're right, Rosalina.
So poor
Yeah, but still, but there's only one girl for Mario, and that's the princess. And let me tell you, he's not gonna go back to his old ex when he's got a princess.
That is true. She's old news.
I'm surprised Luigi didn't go for sloppy seconds.
Oh, poor Luigi. If you want to actually, Pauline does appear. You got to watch this. Sonic for Hire. It's on YouTube. It's a series, animated, like done in the sprites of the video games. Definitely at least TV 14 if you want to put a rating on it. But at one point, Pauline comes into the series, and she's just like a drunken old, like just bitter woman. And she's done in like that not even 8-bit. It was almost like 4-bit style. And it's so funny. Check it out.
Well, I mean, I can imagine she's just, Pauline is just sitting in a trailer park right now with Mario and Luigi's cousin Stanley from Donkey Kong 3.
Stanley. Man, their family tree really branches off in weird ways.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Pauline hooked up with Stanley, and once Stanley got ostracized for shooting smoke up people's butts, and they were sent to the middle of nowhere and completely forgotten about.
There you go. Well, she's technically now in the Hall of Fame, so congratulations to Pauline and to Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're not going to call her to give her the award.
I like how the box on the website, they use like the boxes, to show, and it's shown the Intellivision box, and it says right on it, Donkey Kong plays like the real arcade game for Intellivision. That was, nowadays when you compare the two, that's a far cry.
Well, yeah, but you got to remember that was a big deal back then.
Back then, yeah.
That's how you sold it, because everybody was dropping quarters into the arcade machine. You wanted them to buy your entire console just so they would pick up your Donkey Kong game.
Pretty much.
And other games, of course.
And to round out the top 4, and there was a couple of fighters that were on this list, and a fighter did make it in. And in my opinion, the right one did. Street Fighter 2.
Well, I can understand why Street Fighter 2 was chosen over, I believe Mortal Kombat was the only other fighter on the list.
Correct.
But, I mean, it made sense that Street Fighter 2 would get in, because Street Fighter 2 essentially came first, and Street Fighter 2 was responsible for re-energizing the arcade scene in the late 80s, early 90s. And it's funny since it's not funny, we saw this list beforehand. I decided to take our Retro Spotlight for this week and focus on one of the games that was entered into the Hall of Fame. And since we've already done Donkey Kong, I thought it might be a good idea to talk about Street Fighter 2 in this week's Retro Spotlight.
Let's do it. Oh, I can't wait. I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff coming out for Street Fighter 2.
Well, I tried to keep it centered on Street Fighter 2. I didn't want to go into because I mean there's Street Fighter 3, 4 Alpha, there's so many versions of Street Fighter because it was ridiculously successful. So I thought I would keep the Retro Spotlight closed in on the Hall of Fame, Street Fighter 2.
I love it. And you're saying there's so many Street Fighters. There's so many Street Fighter 2s.
Yes.
Which I'm sure you'll probably get into.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can talk about that. But let's start with just Street Fighter 2.
The OG Street Fighter 2.
The OG Street Fighter 2, developed and published by Capcom. I believe it's one of their most successful games, if not their most successful game and franchise in the industry. It was called Street Fighter 2, obviously, because there was a Street Fighter, an original Street Fighter game that a lot of people, I mean, it's not that people don't know about it, it's just people really don't acknowledge it, because once Street Fighter 2 came out, I mean, it was an instant success. The original Street Fighter actually did not was not received very well and did not perform very well. It was released in 1987 as an arcade. It featured, if I remember correctly, 2 playable characters. It was just Ken and I don't know if it's Ryu or Ryu.
I think officially it's Ryu.
It's Ryu. So Ken and Ryu were the 2 players in the original Street Fighter. And like I said, it didn't do very well. So it kind of just, quietly went away. And then 4 years later, or a little less than 4 years later, Capcom decided that they wanted to create a sequel, but they wanted to make it, faster, more characters, more interesting, so that and with a stronger story. So they came up with a concept of, okay, let's have more playable characters. It's going to be kind of like a world tournament style fighter. And so that's when they came out with Street Fighter II in 1991 in the arcade. And actually, the full title for the game is Street Fighter II: The World Warrior.
Yes, that's right. I remember that on the opening thing. Yeah.
It was not just Street Fighter II. It had a subtitle, The World Warrior, which makes sense because the characters you're playing actually exist around the world, globally. So the original Street Fighter II had a roster of 8 playable characters. Ken and Ryu were 2 of them. And then you had E. Honda, Blanca, Guile, Chun-Li, who was the only female in the game, Zangief, and Halsem. So, and each one was the main fighter of their region. So Halsem was India, Zangief was Russia, Chun-Li was China, so on and so forth. And then after you defeated, all the other warriors, you fought the boss levels, right? We got introduced to what was like a boss level. So there were 4 characters in the game you could not play as that you would face after you beat all the other characters. And those 4 characters were Balrog, who was a boxer, Vega, who had Wolverine claws.
Yeah, right.
Sagat. Now, Sagat was the boss from the original Street Fighter.
He was.
Who you had to face again right before you faced the main guy, M. Bison.
M. Bison.
And everybody remembers M. Bison had the big red jacket that he would throw off, and he wore the hat, and very militaristic.
Yes.
Very character. So, now the interesting thing about the characters that I found out was that in Japan, the 4 bosses were actually originally named differently. Balrog,
yes, I remember this.
Balrog, who was the boxer, was originally named M. Bison because they had developed the boxing character based off of Mike Tyson. They basically they tried to do like a Mike Tyson lookalike.
Yep.
When they decided to develop the game worldwide, they were concerned about getting sued for using Mike Tyson as a likeness. M. Bison is close to Mike Tyson, his name, so they started switching everybody around. So because of that, M. Bison became the boss, and then the original boss's name was Vega. So that got shifted over to the guy with the claws, who was originally named Balrog, who then became the boxer.
Wow. See, I knew about the M. Bison thing with Balrog, but I thought only Balrog and M. Bison had their names switched. I thought Vega was always Vega the whole time. Okay.
No, Vega was originally the boss of the game.
No. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vega was the last boss. Vega was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah, M. Bison was the boxer. Balrog was the claw guy. Sagat was the same.
Yeah.
Because he was from the first one. And then Vega was the end boss, the military boss.
And fun thing with Sagat, how he got his scar on his chest was basically the ending of Street Fighter 1.
Correct, and they carried that over into Street Fighter 2. So it could conceivably have been one of the first video games to actually carry a continuing story line or story beat like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't researched every video game in existence, so I can't say definitely. But it's kind of a cool throwback. So anybody who was a fan of the original Street Fighter got to see that continued in Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
which is cool. Let's see. Other things I can tell you about Street Fighter 2, the combo system. You know how not the special moves, because every character has a special move. You know, Ryu shoots like a Hadouken, and Guile would always have that super upside down kick thing, and Chun-Li would kick many times. But you could also like combo punch and kick in the game. Like you would do like a double punch or, a punch kick combo type of thing that actually wound up in the game accidentally.
Really?
So the producer of the game, Noritaka Funamitsu.
Boy, look at that. You take 4 trips to Japan. Now all of a sudden you can announce all these names with no problem.
That's right. So Noritaka Funamitsu, while he was doing a bug check on the car bonus stage, he noticed that when he was watching a sequence of it, he saw that the timing for punches was a little slow. So he was like, if the punches are so slow, it's like, can I add another one in there? And then he just started playing around with it, doing the bug check, and then he realized that he could add 2. And then he realized that he could add more than 2, and then he just kept playing around with it. And eventually, what was originally just going to be 1 punch and then like a giant amount of space in between. Granted, I mean, when you're playing, it would only be like a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
But he was actually able to fit 8 moves into that same time frame that originally just had 1 move in it.
Wow.
And that's how you got the combos in the game. So what originally was a bug check became one of the biggest staples in fighting game history, because all games now are notorious for their combos.
Oh yeah.
You look at any game. I mean, Mortal Kombat has combos. Marvel vs. Capcom, they started doing combos with like multiple characters.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff. So, really, really interesting that, again, just one of those many cool things that happened by accident. So, you can thank Noritaka Funamitsu for, thank you, Noritaka, for the combo system that now exists in every fighting game.
That's pretty
okay, so moving on. So Street Fighter 2, how successful was it? Well, let's see. By 1995, Street Fighter 2 and its quote-unquote sequel, which was Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, and Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition then became eventually Street Fighter 2 Turbo and so many others. But just those 2 games alone, in arcade only, by 1995, so this game came out in 91, so in 4 years, these 2 games grossed $2.3 billion.
Good Lord. Wow.
$2.3 billion. I mean, that's
a lot of money for early 90s.
Yeah, and only 4 years, and I'm only talking coin revenue.
Wow.
Coin revenue and cabinet sales. So
that's wild. That's a lot of. I did not realize it made that much money.
Yep. If you were to count it if you were to inflate the price to 2017, it would be $4 billion.
Oh.
So yeah, so it would pretty much double at this point. So $2.3 billion just between Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Yep. And then of course it was ported to different consoles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go through the entire list of consoles, but I will say that it existed on the Super Nintendo first, and then it moved on to, and I was very surprised about where this thing wound up, because it wound up, and these were exclusives in different places. It wound up on the Amiga, on the Atari ST, on the Commodore 64, on the PC.
I got my fingers crossed for a certain system.
It did not wind up on the Sharp X68.
Oh, boo.
Sorry.
Okay.
I know. I was hoping as well. But that's where it wound up on 92, and then it eventually got ported onto the Game Boy.
Yes.
Yep. It wound up on the Sega Saturn, the PlayStation, PS2, Xbox, as part of like classic collections and things like that. In 2004, it was released mobile.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It was released on mobile.
Real quick, the fun part about the Game Boy version was the first Game Boy game where you can play 2-player by using the Super Game Boy. You can still play 2-player with 2 controllers on one television on one cart, which was unheard of for Game Boy games back then.
Oh, that's really
cool.
That
was pretty cool.
Congratulations for knowing something.
Well, thank you.
Yes. So, in terms of sales on console, in worldwide, it sold over 14 million cartridges between the Super Nintendo, the Mega Drive, and then eventually the PS3 and Xbox 360 when it got an HD remix.
Oh yes, that HD remix is awesome.
I never played it. But at that point, I had started moving on from fighting games. I think I kind of got burnt out after Super Smash Brothers, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, so other things I can share with you about it. Obviously the reception to the game was excellent. When it was released in the arcade, it received Best Game.
Nice.
Best Game of the Year.
Nice.
Let's see, where are those things? So let's see. It was Game of the Year by Gamist in 1991 and 92. I don't know what Gamist is, but it was Game of the Year for EGM, which is Electronic Gaming Monthly. Great Game Informer, and Game of the Year for the Golden Joystick Awards back in 1992.
Cool.
GamePro also announced it as 16-bit Game of the Year.
Oh, GamePro. I miss GamePro.
Yep. I know, so do I. I used to love GamePro. Game Informer, best playability in a video game.
Cool.
It is in the Guinness Book of World Records, Gamers Edition, for first fighting game to use combos, like I said.
Oh, wow.
It was invented accidentally.
Yeah.
It's the most cloned fighting game.
I can see that. Yep.
A lot of clones, and it was the biggest selling coin-operated fighting game in history.
Wow.
So lots of accolades for Street Fighter 2. And to your point also, there have been so many versions of Street Fighter 2. I did not look up all the versions, but you had Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. You had Turbo, which basically sped the game up.
If it wasn't fast already.
I know, because that was the other thing about the game. It was so smooth and so quick. It was crazy. And then, of course, you had the other games that came out following Street Fighter 2. You had Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter X, Street Fighter 3, Super Puzzle Fighter.
Oh, yeah. That was a real good one, actually.
Yep. Street Fighter 4. And, of course, Street Fighter 5, which just came out last year.
Let me ask you this. I'm trying to remember if it was like Turbo, Championship Edition, or Super Street Fighter 2. Which one was it when you were able to finally start playing as the bosses?
I thought it was
maybe Turbo.
No, I thought it was Championship Edition. I thought, wasn't that the point?
Yes. You know what? I think Championship, because Super Street Fighter 2 introduced like Fei Long and DJ and Cammy, right. And
so I think it was Championship Edition.
Yeah, that was.
And then also because Street Fighter 2 was so successful, it did cross over into other entertainment genres besides video games. Of course, we know that
poor Raul Julia.
Yes, we know Street Fighter 2 was a movie starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, and sadly, Raul Julia's last film.
The Muscles from Brussels played the all-American Guile.
Yes, it was great, especially as he did not even bother hiding his accent, which was always entertaining.
Do you remember who played Cammy? I didn't realize this till years later.
You know what? I had forgotten that Kylie Minogue played Cammy.
I had no
Completely
idea.
forgot that.
Well, I mean, at the time, I don't even know if she was singing back then. Like, if she was popular.
Well, no, she never stopped singing. She was just.
No, I meant like.
What?
If she made it, you know what I mean? Like, was she?
Oh yeah, no. She made it in the '80s. You don't remember
really?
With Locomotion? She did a remake of the song Locomotion. Do the Locomotion.
Minogue?
What?
That was Kylie Minogue?
Yes.
Okay, that just blew my mind. I didn't realize that was Kylie Minogue. I didn't realize she sang in the 80s.
Yep. She's been around for a while. She was very young in the 80s.
Wow.
But well, you know what? You can fact check me on that one.
I'm going to iTunes when we're done.
I'm like 95% sure that Kylie Minogue sang Locomotion, and holy crap, I hope I'm not wrong.
Do the locomotion with me. That song, right?
But yes, that one. She also had a lot of albums in Australia. She's an Australian singer.
Yes.
Okay. So, yep. Okay. So I think I'm correct. She's actually been active singing since 1979.
What?
Yep.
Okay. This is blowing my mind bigger than Street Fighter 2. Oh,
she was 11 years old.
Wait a minute. She's that old now? All right. Now I'm disappointed. I didn't realize she was that old.
Well, yeah, she's 48.
Oh. Well,
that's not old.
48. Well, I thought she was like our age.
Oh, you thought she was younger?
Yeah, which I guess wouldn't make sense because when the movie came out, now it's all starting. Now my dreams are getting crushed. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. But yes, Street Fighter the movie.
I've officially confirmed. She sang the Locomotion.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Yeah,
very much.
Street
I wasn't wrong. So she was in the movie. Again, getting back to Street Fighter 2, not the most well-received film. My personal opinion of the film was that it shoehorned in way too many characters, and that was the problem.
Yeah, it did.
You just had cameos in there like crazy. It was just nutty. And then, of course, there was another film many years later, The Legend of Chun-Li.
You know what? Better than the first movie.
But
I'm not saying by much, but better than the first movie. You know, the fact that they got Lana Lang in there is good.
So they had two major live action movies, and then they also had an animated film.
Yes, that
film, which was really good. Actually, it's probably the best film they had.
Yes, totally. My opinion, the second best animated movie.
Yep. It also at one point had its own cartoon series.
I think I remember that.
Yep. And I don't know if you remember this, but the Street Fighter 2 characters were they had action figures as part of the G.I. Joe Real American Hero lineup in 1993.
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, Hasbro bought the rights to the Street Fighter 2 characters, and they released the toy line with them, and and rightfully so. I mean, it was still super popular a year later, so they actually took I don't know if they took a risk or not, but it was already doing so well they pounced on that.
Yeah, I think I do remember that. Yeah, I'll have to go back and check that out.
Just based on all that information alone, I mean, it makes sense that Street Fighter 2 is now part of the Hall of Fame, Video Game Hall of Fame class of 2017. Congratulations to Street Fighter 2, and that is your Retro Spotlight for this week.
And Street Fighter 2 is still going strong because Ultra Street Fighter 2 is about to be released on the Switch.
Wow.
And that's part of the Street Fighter 2 legacy.
I may just have to pick that up.
I'm curious. That game should be in the Hall of Fame just for the number of sequels for a sequel.
Right? It's a little right. It's the most sequel. Yeah, it's the most. I don't know if you call them spin-offs or, I mean, what would you call those?
Sequels?
No, I don't call them sequels because the sequel to Street Fighter 2 would technically be Street Fighter 3.
Yeah, I guess you're true. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but not just to switch over for a minute to the Switch. My Switch is on the way back to Nintendo.
No, what happened?
The left Joy-Con issue.
Yes,
that people are having.
That it wasn't connecting.
Yeah. Yes, I am a victim of the left Joy-Con malfunction.
Oh, boo!
Yep.
I am so sorry.
I know. I had to mail it out today. Oh, and by the way, I'm already a little miffed at Nintendo as it is with the whole NES Classic fiasco. But let me tell you something. Nintendo's got to get their act in order, even with customer service. My customer service rep was awesome, but what they make you go through before they accept the fact that they're going to take something back is ridiculous. Literally, I'm sitting there on the phone with customer service, and they're telling me, okay, now I'm at work, mind you. because I brought the well, no, because I didn't have time to call this morning because I got to drive to work. So I always get to work a half an hour early. So I'm like, all right, I'll bring my Switch with me and I'll call them because I knew I was going to have to send it in. So I call them up and they're like, okay, whatever, usual information. What's wrong? Oh, my left Joy-Con's malfunctioning. Oh, is it malfunctioning? How is it malfunctioning? And I told them, I said, it's malfunctioning wirelessly and when it's attached to the Switch. There's just something, it's just that issue.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. First thing he's like, do you have a toothbrush handy? And I'm like, why? They're like, well, you need to get a toothbrush and you need to clean out all the dust inside the joystick. And I'm like, I don't have a toothbrush on me. I don't have a toothbrush on me. And I told him, I was like, and I wouldn't use my toothbrush to do it. He's like, oh, well, and he's like, I'm sorry. He's like, but the first step in troubleshooting this is you have to take a toothbrush and try cleaning it. If you don't have one right now, hang up and try that and call back if there's an issue. I'm like, no. I said, I'm going to find one right now because, I mean, right there, like to me, I'm all right. We're already stepping into ludicrous at this point. Where it's like, even if I was home, it was like I have to take my toothbrush and use my toothbrush to clean the joystick when they already know that they're having a problem with the left Joy-Con. So anyway, I find a toothbrush at work. I won't tell you whose. No, I did not use anybody's toothbrush. It just so happens that I work for a company that has merchandise all over the place, and we have toothbrushes. So I find a toothbrush. I humor the guy who stays on the phone while I play around.
Oh, you didn't even actually do it?
No, I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
No, I went through the trouble of finding a toothbrush. I was going to try.
Okay.
So I clean it with the toothbrush, and I tell the guy, okay, fine, I cleaned it with the toothbrush. He's like, all right, turn the game on and try playing it. So I try playing it a couple minutes in, and I'm like, nope. I'm still walking off cliffs on Zelda, So he's like, oh, okay, fine. He's like, all right, you need to send back. He's like, he checked a couple of other things, like, do you have all the updated software? And I'm like, yes, I do, and all that junk. So he's like, all right, you need to send back the left Joy-Con with the console.
Oh, God.
So I'm like, fine. I was like, it's fine. I'm like, I don't have another controller anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to play. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I can live without it for a week. That's what he said. It takes up to a week before you get it back. Fine. Then he proceeds to tell me, he's like, but just so you know, we can't guarantee that your saved data will remain on the console. And I'm like, wait a minute. I go, I've been playing Breath of the Wild, for, I don't know, I probably clocked in at least 30 or 40 hours on that thing already because of all my flights to Japan, to and from Japan. I mean, I basically been sitting on a plane playing Zelda when I'm not reading Console Wars, which, by the way, I'm still reading, and it's awesome. And another reason why I'm not too fond of Nintendo after reading that book. But we'll talk about that when I complete the book, coming soon. So anyway, so he's like, all right. So I told him, I said, wait a minute. I said, I don't want to lose my save data. I go, I've been playing the game for like 34 hours. Yeah, he's like, I completely understand, yada, yada. He's like, that's why what we tell our gamers, it's like, maybe what you can do is play through the game and beat it, and then when you've completed the game, you can call us back and send it in. And I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I can't play through the game. I go, my Joy-Con doesn't work, and my character keeps walking off cliffs.
This is the best customer service ever.
And I'm not, and at this point, I'm saying in my head, I said, don't tell me to go buy another controller because then I'm going to hit the roof. So he's like, yeah, he's like, well, he's like, he's like, I'm sorry. He's like, you're just going to have to send it in. He's like, we're not saying that it's going to get erased. He's just like, he's like, we can't be held liable if it gets erased. I go, what am I going to hold them liable for? I'm like, I'm going to sue them for my game getting erased on there.
Class action lawsuit because you lost your game's save.
Exactly. So he's like, anyway, I'm like, okay, fine. I was like, I'll send it in. So he's like, fine. He's like, I'm going to send you a shipping label. It may take 24 hours to show up in your email. It showed up in like 5 seconds. Then he tells me, please make sure you do not return it in the original Switch box. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Why? So apparently people who have been doing that, their Switches have been disappearing in the mail.
No. Oh, no.
So he told me it's like use like a regular like brown UPS box or something like that and send it back to us. Do not use the Switch box. Yeah. So apparently these things are getting so. Oh, and why are they disappearing in the mail? Oh, could it be because you didn't release enough of them? Oh, this sounds familiar.
They're airmailing a lot of them to stores now.
Yeah. So right. So anyway, my Nintendo Switch is on the way back to Nintendo headquarters so I can get a new left Joy-Con, and hopefully it returns with my save data for Legend of Zelda. If it does not, Nintendo, I declare war. And you know what? Seattle's not that far from where I live.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's just a straight shot north.
That's the thing. I know where they live, and I will go if I do not have my save data.
Oh, that is I had no idea.
Oh, then the customer service rep decided to tell me his story on how he doesn't even own a Switch, and the only time he plays Zelda is at the office. And I'm like, well, good for you. I was like, that doesn't mean anything to me. I want my saved game back.
Oh, he's trying to relate with you. When you're in customer service, you have to relate to the customer.
Well, you know what? If he wants to relate to me, he should have found himself a toothbrush.
Gotta take care of those customer service people. It's a tough job.
So that was my experience today with Nintendo of America.
Wow. All right, man.
Man, they are sinking fast with me.
We may have to get our friend on here because this may be a 2-to-1 battle with Nintendo.
It's coming. So, Larry, I don't think you can defend them. I really don't.
I got my Switch is working good. I got other things. I mean,
don't make me put the horns on you, Switch.
It's all right.
I get the horns.
I plan on getting those neon green Joy-Con controllers anyway.
Well, I want to get the Pro Controller because I heard the Pro Controller is pretty awesome.
Pro Controller is awesome. I did buy it. That is awesome. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so I know that's not retro gaming, but it was a Nintendo story I thought I would share.
You don't have much luck with systems. Your Xbox red ringed pretty quickly, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. I only had my Xbox, I think, for like 2 months before it red ringed.
Didn't you buy mine?
I mean, what?
Didn't you buy mine?
Yes.
It red ringed like 2 weeks later.
Yes, it did. Yep. You sold it to me.
I did.
I gave you money, and it red ringed.
It did.
Yeah, but you know what?
If
you remember correct. No, I was going to say, but if you remember correctly, I won out on the deal because they sent me a newer console than what you sold me. So I had a newer console than you had. For way less money.
With the to wrap things up, also with the Video Game Hall of Fame, nominations are currently
we still
going.
On that?
You can actually nominate games for the 2018 Hall of Fame. Nominations received by February 28th, 2018 will be considered for the May 2018 induction. 4 criteria, real quick, of gaming history. Selection criteria: icon status, longevity, geographical reach, and influence.
Okay.
So check that out. WorldVideoGameHallOfFame.org. Start nominating now.
I think I already know what you're going to nominate, but I don't think they're going to accept Mario Tennis for the Virtual Boy.
Mario Clash.
I'm sorry, Mario Clash.
Well,
maybe they need like a reject Hall of Fame. You know, I did that retro reject one week, and I have to bring that back soon because that one's just fun.
Well, if you want to see the virtual what?
I'm gonna start the Video Game Hall of Shame.
And Nintendo apparently is gonna have its own wing.
Oh, the Nintendo wing is definitely forthcoming.
Oh, I love Nintendo. If you want to check out retro, if you want to see the Virtual Boy, if you want to purchase a Virtual Boy, because that's my hot item this year, is purchasing a Virtual Boy.
It is the most expensive paperweight you will ever purchase.
You can by all means check out this August, if you're on Long Island, the Long Island Retro Gaming EXPO 2017. It will be at the Cradle of Aviation Museum on the weekend of August 12th and August 13th. Tickets are on sale right now. cradleofaviation.org. I think that's a Saturday and a Sunday. Online tickets, $20 for adults, $10 for children between the ages of 2 and 12.
The big question about that is, will the retro gamers be there?
We will.
Oh, good. All right. Thanks for the invite.
So we will be represented.
All right, good. After we're done with this podcast, I'm going to start walking.
What's cool also this year is they have the single tickets, and they also have a 2-day pass. For $30.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. For a 2-day pass, $30 for adults, $15 for children. And if you buy at the door, it's $5 more, but you cannot buy the 2-day pass at the door. So get your butt to cradleofaviation.org, buy your tickets, and come meet the retro gamers. That's just because we may just be walking around in the parking lot.
That's very true. Who knows if they'll let us in?
We'll be valeting.
Hey, you know what? People need valet. And we can do it playing 8-bit video game music.
Yes. Oh, we can. It'd be like a tailgate.
It'd be awesome.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Game on.
Do you want to? We can do a tailgate at the Retro Gaming Expo.
I love it. All 8-track.
Oh boy, we're gonna get thrown out fast.
So
I'm gonna fly all the way across the country to go to this thing, and we're gonna be there for like 5 minutes.
That is probably true. So
unacceptable.
What do we have?
Unacceptable.
What do we have this week in gaming, Anthony? Your favorite, I think.
My favorite. Thanks for the segue. God, man.
There is no segue to this week in gaming. It marks the end of the show.
Well, no, actually, you know what? I could have very happily segued to this week in gaming, but you just decide to throw things out of left field.
I don't know what games you're going to be talking about.
Well, maybe you should ask.
This is called prep, and this is what we don't do.
Well, no, this is what you don't do. I clearly prepare because I have everything ready. You think I just have all this stuff in my brain?
I got a lot of shows happening. I'm busy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. So anyway, moving on. Moving on. Before, Larry wants to wrap this one up so he can, go play it back and listen to himself.
I sure am.
This week in gaming history, it's actually not a very popular week.
Really?
In gaming history. I don't know. I was actually trying to theorize on that one too. I don't know if it's because it's, like maybe the early May, I don't know, kids are in school, finals are going on. It was just never really targeted for a big week in gaming. So
I can see that.
So here is the list. This week in gaming history. We're going to start in 1989 in Japan on the Game Boy, Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle.
Oh, those games, that series ruled. And that game, I remember that game rocked.
I wasn't a Game Boy person because I have an issue with small screens. Don't ask me why. But even as a kid, I didn't like those tiny screens. But I had Crazy Castle for the NES, if I remember correctly. Was that what it was called?
Was there a Crazy Castle for the NES? No, I thought that was pretty much Game Boy exclusive.
So what was the Bugs Bunny game on the NES? The one with like the 100 levels. You had to collect the carrots.
Oh, maybe there was a version. Because they also had Bugs Bunny's his birthday bash.
No, it wasn't that one.
Okay.
I think it was Crazy Castle. Anyway, 1989, Game Boy version came out in Japan. Also on the Famicom in 1989 in Japan, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ooh.
The first one.
Fall to Foot Clan? Nice.
No. The first game.
Well, probably. Oh, Famicom. I'm sorry. Famicom, yes.
The original Ninja Turtles game for NES, basically.
Yes.
The NES version. Yes, that game was obnoxious.
That wicked water level.
Man, that water level drove me nuts. Moving on to 1990. Also,
real fast,
what?
Yes, Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle was on the NES. So
thank you very much. Yeah, don't doubt me. So 1990, Game Boy, Japan again. It's a lot of Japan this week. Lock and Chase. Do you remember the game Lock and Chase?
Why does that sound familiar? Yeah,
it was actually a really old game. It was kind of, if I'm remembering it correctly, it was like Pac-Man-esque with with the levels. But Lock and Chase. 1991, also Famicom, Japan. I had to pull this one out because the name of it is just gold. Palamedes 2, Star Twinkles.
That's awesome.
I have no idea what the game is. I have no idea what the gameplay is like, but I do know if you have a Famicom, you need to run out immediately and pick up Palamedes 2, Star Twinkles. No more needs to be said about it.
Game on.
Also, 1991, in Japan, Scorpius for the Sharp 8X68000.
There you go. We will each own that system before the end of time.
And I have a feeling with all this build-up, we're going to regret it.
In a heartbeat.
Okay, 1994, in the good old US of A, on DOS, we got Hugo's House of Horrors.
Ooh.
Not a clue. Look it up.
No.
Genesis in Japan, 1994, Outrunners, which I do remember.
Oh, yes. Great game. Yep.
Great game. And we're going to double dip on the Sharp X68000.
Whoa.
1994, we got a game called Viper V8.
Nice.
Thank you. That is not related to the Sharp at all, but okay.
Well, we doubled, when that
double dip, sloppy seconds. We're all over the place this week. 1995 in the United States on the Super Nintendo, Panzer Dragoon.
Ooh, okay.
That was a great game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I meant that was not Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo was Vegas Stakes in 1995. My bad. That's my bad. Vegas Stakes, which was a completely different game that I used to play. On the Sega Saturn, it was Panzer Dragoon.
I'm gonna guess those two were right on one above the other on the list.
They were. I'm mixing.
I was gonna say, for a minute, I'm like, after I said it's a great game, I'm like, wait a minute, Super Nintendo.
No, it was Sega Saturn. That game was way too big to fit on Super Nintendo, I think.
Vegas Stakes.
But sadly, Vegas Stakes I actually still own.
Vegas Stakes is awesome. That was a great game.
I always loved casino games. It's no wonder I go to Vegas whenever I get a chance.
Honestly, that was one of the best.
Vegas Stakes. And then Panzer Dragoon, of course, for Sega Saturn, which was an amazing game.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely amazing. Jumping to 1998, on the PlayStation, we got two games in the U.S. Forsaken, which was a really good game. I don't know if you remember Forsaken. And the start of another amazing franchise, Gran Turismo.
Wow, yes. Oh, fantastic. In my opinion, Gran Turismo is probably the best racing simulator that was out there.
I do agree. And the very first one came out in 1998. We're going to jump 2 years to 2000. On the Dreamcast, very fitting since we talked about this in Retro Spotlight, we got Street Fighter Alpha 3 on Dreamcast.
Excellent.
And the same week, they also released on the Dreamcast The King of Fighters Evolution.
Oh, good one. Yep.
Another fighting game. All right, moving on to 2001. We got a PC game, PC and Mac. Windows and Mac in the U.S. in 2001. We got, if you remember, one of the games nominated for the Hall of Fame this year was Myst. Well, we got its little grandson, Myst 3 Exile in 2001 on Windows and Mac.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I loved Myst, but man, could I not figure it out. That first one, man. To this day, I still want to go back and solve it. And maybe I will one day. Maybe I will. Moving on to 2002 in the United States. I picked out two games that I think you would personally enjoy. One was Desert Strike Return to the Gulf on Game Boy Advance.
Oh, GBA. Okay. I didn't realize it was released.
GBA.
Nice.
And on PlayStation 2, I know this was one of your favorites. You used to play it all the time. Britney's Dance Beat.
Yes.
Which was the Britney Spears game.
I don't know if you're joking or not. I owned it. I own it.
I know you do. And now everybody knows.
Oh boy.
Moving on to 2003. On Windows, there was Arkanoid 4000.
What?
I know.
I never played the first 3,999.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how you're going to follow the story. Also, on Windows, Grand Theft Auto Vice City was released.
Ooh, nice.
Awesome game. Yeah. On GameCube, Lost Kingdoms 2. And at the time, Finding Nemo was released on pretty much everything. PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, Game Boy Advance. It was when the movie was released. So, of course, the movie got a video game.
There you go. Mass market.
And then jumping to 2005, and this will end this week in gaming, we got Donkey Konga 2 on the GameCube.
Oh, okay.
And we got Need for Speed Underground 2 for the DS.
Fair enough. Yep.
Another great racing game.
Definitely a great series.
And that completes this week in gaming.
Nice. That does it. Sweet. Good stuff.
Yeah, I got a lot of good stuff. This was a nice conversation this week.
This was a good one.
Yep, I can't wait for me to go back and not listen to it.
Excellent. And I'm going to go listen to it, I don't know, maybe 3 times tonight, 2 times tomorrow.
Yep, and then next week's podcast, I'll talk about what happens to my Switch when I get it back.
If you get it back.
If I get it back. Hey, I put it in a nondescript brown box like they told me to. If I do not get it back, I will personally go to Nintendo in Seattle. And not only will I walk out with a Switch, I will walk out with a hidden warehouse full of NES classics because I know it's. I know they're holding them up there somewhere, and they're the ones selling them on eBay for like $500.
So watch for Anthony to be on the new episode of Cops from Washington.
Cops Seattle.
Awesome. Well, with that, that's another week, and cool. All right, so let's call it a day here. We got your show's going to be showing here in a week, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Inside Guy will be showing at the Die Laughing Film Festival on Saturday, May 13th at 3 p.m. It's part of their comedy block. So if you live in the Los Angeles area and the Hollywood area, or if you don't live in the Hollywood area and you feel like flying out here to spend $10 to see my sitcom pilot, please, by all means, do so. No money will be reimbursed.
So head on out to Los Angeles, California. That's good.
See, Inside Guy. And if you want to know more about the show, you can go on Facebook. There's a Facebook page, facebook.com/InsideGuyShow. You can also check out the website, which is inside-guy.com.
Sweet. Good stuff. And, of course, if you haven't subscribed to it yet, check out the Pro Slam World Podcast with Larry Mormon, as rolling right along there, bringing you professional wrestling each and every Friday at 6:05 a.m.
6:05 a.m.?
Well, I mean, it's a podcast, so it drops in the morning.
Why at 6:05?
Remember WCW Saturday night used to be 6:05 p.m.?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just going to say, that's like TBS time.
Exactly.
TBS used to always do everything 5 minutes later so that you did not miss the beginning of the show.
That? Oh, that was great. So,
it was stupid.
So check that out, and check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Retro Gamers Podcast, and on Instagram at _Retro Gamers.
Yes, and we have a website under construction right now, so that'll be coming soon.
Yes, and we're going to have some good stuff on that website, actually. I got to talk to you about that when we're done, probably.
Business meeting. Okay. Should we do that on the show or off the show?
I have no problem airing the business on the show as long as we can get ice cream bars.
What kind of ice cream bars are we talking?
Any.
Okay. Well, you know what? I believe that can happen. I will get a box of ice cream bars and mail them to you.
Sweet. I'm assuming that's ground shipping.
Yes.
Okay. And with that, folks,
or media mail. I'll throw a DVD in there too.
So with that, we'll catch you all next week. Have a good one, folks.